Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to December. December 1st. Only one more month left in 2025, and 2026 will be here before you know it. If you missed my last 2026 planning session, message me today and say I want those recordings because or I want that information. I'll send it to you because it is important that you plan right now for 2026. Hope everybody's doing well. My name's Matt Russell, and I'm your host for the Experts Game. And today we've got a special one for you. This is an interview I did just a little while back. Her name is Kristen Fesnak, and Kristen has been a good friend of mine for a good many years. She's also in real estate. She owns 10X Realty. She's got a trademark of Builder's Bestie, which I think is the ultimate trademark name. I mean, it's pretty cool. And she also has just recently become a TV host. And now I know that's some of her past life. She's done some hosting on television as well, but recently has just become a TV host. And I'm going to have her back on for interview number 2 so she can talk more about that. But I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. There's a lot of great nuggets of information you can get from this. And really, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cue it up for you guys here today. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Experts Game Podcast. My name is Matt Russell and I'm your host. I want to welcome you back today. We're excited to have with us and investments, and I may have butchered your name. I apologize if I did.
No, you actually did well. Yep, you got it right.
Okay, well, fantastic. Kristen and I have known each other for a long time, probably about 8 or 10 years now. We met in a training class years ago, and I just knew that she was going to be really successful in real estate. She had a pretty good background working with a lot of different groups of people. And I think when we first talked, I don't even know if you were in real estate then, but I knew you were getting ready to go into it. So tell us about yourself and also kind of give us the segue of the last 10 or 15 years and what you've done.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Matt. This is really exciting, really fun. So yeah, you were right. It's probably been about 8 or 10 years since you met because I've been in real estate for 9 years now. So before real estate, I actually worked in marketing. So I had a promotional marketing agency. And so it was more event marketing. So it was your sports marketing, guerrilla marketing, mobile marketing, tours. And then I transitioned into real estate from that. I didn't know that I wanted to get into real estate. I actually just knew that I wanted to invest in real estate. So at that point, I felt like I had kind of expanded what I could do in my marketing agency, and I just wasn't feeling challenged anymore. So I knew I wanted to invest, not necessarily give up what I was doing. But I had a brother at the time, and he's still licensed. He's more on the property management side now. And he was in real estate or had his license. And so I would ask him questions like, hey, about this getting licensed thing, or how does it work? And as you know, Matt, it can be a little confusing at first with the pre-licensing and the post and affiliating with a firm. So he would give me answers, but I felt like I still didn't really quite understand his answers. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and get my license and, see what these people have to tell me. Again, I just figured if I wanted to invest, I should at least start there. Like they would at least guide me in the right direction. And then as fate would have it, I actually found myself moving into a different career altogether, which was not necessarily the plan.
It's funny how things happen, I think. So to the viewers watching this, we're having a little bit of lagging on the video. The voice is coming through just perfect. I mean, everything's great. I don't know if it's mine or if it's out there somewhere in the world, but if that's the case, hopefully it will clear up here in just a minute. But You're so right about sometimes we're in things and we just don't know what the next step's going to be, and it could be completely different than what we thought it would be. So, your company now is called 10X Realty and Investments. I'm
Correct.
curious, where did that name come from?
Well, of course, I'm a Grant Cardone
Okay.
fan, and didn't really think I would be able to get that name, first of all. But,
Mhm.
everyone let me register the name, so I just went with it. I knew I wanted to have investments in there because again, as I started my own firm, I wanted to kind of move away from just being known as traditional real estate, realtor, residential sales. So I definitely
Other people helping with their investments, or are you investing more on your own in your own company?
Sure. Yeah. So when COVID happened, obviously it was, some great years in real estate, but then, as the inflation went up, then so did interest rates. So at that point in time, well, number one, I was getting very overwhelmed and very busy, almost to that burnout stage. But then all of a sudden, the pipeline kind of dried up a little bit. So I was like, okay, I need to think where I'm going from here. Like, what's my next move? Where's my pivot? So I was like, okay, investors. Investors are still transacting. Like that's where the transactions are. So then I decided to start plugging myself into the investor scene. So I do actively help investors with their investments, or, I will list their flipped properties, that type of thing. And then, I've got a couple investments. I've got some clients that are looking to take single family properties and turn them into co-living investments, co-living properties. So there's very specific, unique properties we have to look for in that. And then also in terms of understanding creative finance and acquiring those properties for the investors. So my investments moving forward, which we'll touch on later, is I'm looking to be more in the land space for my personal moving forward.
Okay.
Um, the investments is a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're also licensed in several states right now. So you can do real estate where?
Correct. North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Okay. Okay. So is Florida next? Florida the next step?
Florida's always been on my radar. I love Key West.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, we were down in Fort Lauderdale for an event, and we went out on this boat this one day, and it was amazing to me just the amount of properties that were just along the side of this. I guess it was like an intercoastal waterway type thing. And I said, I really need to come down here and get involved in real estate because obviously it was getting ready to boom. I mean, this was probably 8 years ago, so it was really getting ready to take off. And I felt like that area down there was really, really conducive to some really good real estate. Um, and the property values were so high, and there was a little bit of building going on. It just seemed like the perfect storm for real estate. So, did not happen. I did not go down there and practice real estate, but really thought about it for a good while. So I love the Florida area. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. You kind of said we'll talk about it later when it comes to your future. Well, I want to talk about it now.
Okay, that's fine. We can
So
do it right now.
so let's jump right in and say I think since I've known you and since I've followed you on social media, I've always kind of got the impression that there's a game plan, that you're just taking steps. Like this step gets me to this next level, and I think that's kind of where you were leading right now. Um, what's your goal? What's your game plan?
So I got into real estate, and there's a lot of avenues you can take. And I wanted to kind of try a little bit of everything to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like, what I was good at, what I just didn't really care to do. And I fell into the land space through working with investors and working with wholesalers and calling on off market property, doing some wholesale things, and happened upon a seller who had land and then was open to the idea of entitling land and rezoning it and development. So then that got me more into the game of having my buyers are now a lot of builders and developers that I will find big, usually off market tracks. They don't care for really anything on market. There's a couple reasons for that. And, they have ended up becoming my buyers for that. And so moving forward, now licensed in Georgia because there is a very large 16-acre development project down there that we are working with a developer out of California right now, and hopefully should be contracting that first phase. It should be this week, so we're very, very close on that. Um, but outside of just brokering the deals, my next plan is to acquire the deals and then also, raise the funds and take it through myself through entitlement and rezoning. Maybe not necessarily develop right away, possibly develop in the future, but then being able to sell off the paper lots to the end builder. So basically act as the developer for
Okay.
just the horizontal paper lots, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I like the idea that it seems like it's progression. It's just certain things that have progressed to that, and then with this land deal in Georgia that you're working with the developer out in California, it seems like you had to kind of build up to this because of connections. The connections came over time, and it's not something that you can just jump into. So that's a wonderful tip for anybody listening today, is that you're not going to just be able to jump right into something and be successful. You might get lucky, but more than likely you have to put in that hard work, that dedication to what you're trying to do, connect with people. I mean, you said you were really involved in the investment space, and I think those connections are probably paying off a little bit.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. I mean, if we talk about a typical work day, I mean, almost every morning, my lead generation is a networking something. Like
Mm.
this morning, I was at a breakfast. The breakfast that I was at this morning is who I had met a commercial broker a year ago there, and he knew of this land in Georgia. And then a group I go to on Thursday mornings, an investor in that group had the contact of the developer out in California. So usually twice a week, I'm at an in-person breakfast. Twice a week, I run a land Zoom on Wednesday mornings that I network. I'm on a private money Zoom on Friday mornings. So yeah, Tuesday through Friday, I'm definitely doing networking first thing in the morning. And that's, I
Mm.
think, my lead gen. I think kind of what you were alluding to.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, and you've got to do that in business if you want to grow. I mean, you've got to be out there where your customers are, where you can find people. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I don't necessarily think I'm even going into the meeting like with a plan, or maybe I don't think I have something new that week, but something comes up in the meeting and it sparks and it's like, oh, I need to talk to you, or oh, I'm so glad like you showed up at this meeting today. Even in just speaking with raising money for these land funds, the meeting I went to this morning, we weren't necessarily, there wasn't a speaker planned, I don't think, but someone in the meeting actually was a coach for raising private money, so he actually did speak. And so then I really got to have a good conversation with him about something that was kind of relevant for me right now. So you just have to put yourself in the positions to be in front of
Hmm.
opportunities.
Yeah, we've heard many times the people get into the right place at the right time, and a lot of people, I feel like they kind of make fun of that a little bit, and they say, well, they're just the lucky person, or they're the lucky ones, and or that would happen to them. But the
Mm-hmm.
reality is, the people that it happens to are the people that put in the work and the effort to get there in the first place.
Right, and it's consistency. And then going back to a gentleman in one of our groups, he just wrote a book called The Relationship Blueprint. I mean, he's been in the investing space here locally for a while, and it's showing up consistently, but it's not just showing up, getting a name. You're getting there early, you're staying there afterwards, having those conversations. And I like to make it a point if I meet someone new before the next week, because I know I'll probably see them again if they show up like I do. I
Hmm.
make it a point to meet with them privately, whether it's on the phone or on Zoom or in person, and say, how can we work together? How can I help you? How can I bring value? Like, is there a way that we can work together with what you've got going on?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful um, bit of business advice, because a lot of people might be struggling with their businesses. I was on a call this morning, and if you're struggling with something, a lot of that has to do with you. Where are you putting the time and the effort into moving this business, or life situation forward? I mean, where are you watering the grass? Where are you tilling the soil? Where are you doing all these things? And it seems like you're really putting in that extra time and effort to do that. So I'm excited for your business endeavors, and especially with the Georgia thing. I'm kind of excited to see what happens with some of that. Let me ask you this question. Let's just say that you had to start over. You had to
Mm-hmm.
start over today, and
Mm-hmm.
what would you do? Where would you go first?
I think if
Okay,
I
so
had,
so let me stop you real quick. So
okay,
Grant Cardone, you said you're a
okay,
Grant Cardone fan.
yes.
I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you probably did. Undercover Millionaire, or
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was called. Show that came on Discovery a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Started out the very first year with one person, and he ended up, his job was to make $1 million, but he had lost everything. I mean, this was
Mm-hmm.
a big billionaire. He had lost everything, and his job was to have $1 million business within 90 days. So it was pretty popular. A lot of people enjoyed it. Second year, they had three entrepreneurs. Grant Cardone was one of them. So, of course, I watched it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed seeing this. It just so happened to be during COVID. I mean, which added more flavor to it. I mean, I thought it was just pretty good. And Grant ended up having to give up everything, all of his contacts, his phone. I think they gave him $100 to begin with, and he said he didn't use it. He put it in the bank, immediately, because he knew he would at least have $100 when he got done. And
Mm-hmm.
his job was to make $1 million business. Ended up making a $5.5 million business in 90 days. But what would you do if all that was taken from you? You were thrown on Undercover Billionaire, and what would you do?
Yeah, so I know of the show. I actually haven't seen Grant's episode, so I do need to go back and watch that because I'm
It
probably going to take some tips.
it's not an episode; it's a whole season.
Oh,
He
a whole
did
series?
like 10 episodes, and yeah, you've got to watch it. I've watched it two or three times. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure my answers are not going to be anywhere near Grant Cardone's answers, but I'll definitely go back and watch that. If I had to, like, if I was going to say if I had to start back over in real estate from the beginning, I mean, I don't regret anything that I've done because it's all been stepping stones and it's taught me what I feel like I've needed to learn along the
Hmm.
way. But if I had to start over again, I think I would actually take a step back from the beginning and really, block out all the noise because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of shiny objects, and a lot of people wanting you to do certain things certain ways and their way and certain avenues you can take in real estate. And I think I would really soul search and figure out what I wanted to do, like what lane I wanted to be in, or what my niche was, or that sort of thing, and be able to hone in on that from the beginning. Now, am I glad that I've always wanted to be well rounded? Like ever since I was a kid, I remember like I didn't want to be in a certain clique in school, and I would be on all different clubs and sports and orchestra and theater. Like I wanted to experience everything. So for me, I think it was okay, but I do feel like if I had a little bit narrower of a path to begin with, maybe I would have gotten where I am or where I'm going a little bit faster. But there's always ways to speed up your trajectory too, with mentors and coaches, and being in the right rooms or consistently showing up and meeting the right people at the right times. So that's the only thing for me, because I feel like sometimes I get a little, not overwhelmed, but I get excited, like I want to try it all, but that's not
Hmm.
feasible when you're splitting your energy like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think about that a lot too. What would I do differently if I had to start all over again? Well, I'd probably be a little smarter at things. I would try to make things a little more simpler. That's what I'm all about now.
hmm
I mean, my goodness, I even have a business challenge I do called the Simple Startup. I mean, it's all about simplicity. I would probably do that, and I would probably have gotten a coach quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had, I just really, I mean, I've been in business for about 27 years myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hired my first coach about 2 or 3 years ago. So, and I don't mean just listening to courses and things online. I mean really having a coach
Mm-hmm.
that I met with every week, and I think that's important. And you mentioned that as well. Do you have a couple of coaches that you work with in real estate right now? I mean, I know of one that you definitely have. I think with Pace Morby.
Yeah, so I'm in some of Pace's groups. I've had different coaches in the past. When I was in residential sales, I had a great video marketing coach with one of the big firms. She was out of California. She's really big in the coaching scene with like all the
Mm-hmm.
ClickFunnels, and Russell Brunson's one of her coaches. So I do think there's definitely value in coaches. So several over the career, and I think it depends on kind of where you are in your business and your career, because there's certain coaches you want for certain seasons and that sort of thing. But I think that's definitely huge. And I love what you said about the simplicity thing, because like at the end of my day, I always write out a list of like the things I need to do for the next day, but it's not a huge list. Like I call it like my big hits. Like it
Mm-hmm.
could be 1 to 5 things that like almost like non-negotiables. I just got to make sure I get it done. And it could be as simple as I need to call this person. I need to door knock this one property because that's that one property that's going to get me the next big deal. Or I need to call from a different phone number to this particular person because I need to move this deal forward. So I think keeping it simple, at least for my brain, is extremely helpful because then I feel like it actually has a higher probability of getting done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, and that's what I always like to look at things. I mean, if I make things too complicated, I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I may move, I may leave that situation, and it's just so much easier when it's simple and stuff. So I'm just curious, who was your video coach? Who was it?
It was Kristen Masher.
Oh yeah, okay, Krista. Yeah,
Familiar?
I I have uh I have seen her a couple of times. Um I thought you were going to say Marley Jacks, but I forgot that Krista is in real estate, and that's where it kind of that tie in pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've run into her a couple of times in Orlando. We've been at a
Okay, yeah,
conference together, which is cool and stuff.
that is cool.
Well, that is fantastic. Let me ask you this question. I ask a lot of people this question, and it's kind of off topic,
Okay.
but what's something that we don't know about you? I mean, what is if somebody um, follows you on Facebook and sees what you do in the real estate world, or maybe connects with you somewhere? What's something that they don't know? Maybe like a hobby or something that you enjoy doing.
Sure. Well, one thing I think that some people may or may not know, and then the other is definitely will be a big surprise. I so I'm a Charlotte native, and I actually used to cheer in the NBA when I was the Charlotte Bobcats.
Oh,
So
cool.
I did that for a couple years, which I don't think everyone knows. I'm sure some people do know, but something that I'm very interested in that only my close friends know is that I think I have an above average fascination with like the universe
Mm,
and like how it works and like who else is out there and what's going on and the quantum fields. It's very intriguing to me in a very nerdy, probably kind of way, but then also like kind of a weird spiritual way. Um, I watched all the shows on it.
you're kind of like young Sheldon.
Kind of like young Sheldon. I wouldn't say I'm that nerdy. I feel like it's a lot more of like a spiritual too. So but yeah, like all like the ancient aliens, like the ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
So a little
Well, that's cool.
about the
That's cool.
fascinating.
Let's see. What was it my little girl said the other day? She said something about um we were talking about different planets or something like that, and she said, "Well, you don't see anybody walking around that are from Mars." And I said, "No, there's probably some. There's
Yeah, I was
probably
like, you
some
never
out there."
know. Oh, I bet. I bet.
But it's funny. I don't really. I have a fascination with history, so
Okay.
there is a little bit of carryover with some
hmm
of that.
Yeah.
A lot of the shows I watch on Discovery that
hmm
have those ancient or ancient civilizations, and stuff like
hmm
that. I'll watch more of the historical aspect of it, which is the same thing. You kind of
Right.
wondering, how did this happen? I tell you one thing that's crazy, and I know this is about you, but
Oh, you're
I
fine.
want to hear about you. But this just kind of reminded me of something. I love to mess around with coins. Like I
Okay.
like collectibles, and
Okay.
and I may look through coins, here
hmm
and there. And so I'll go to the bank and I'll get like this roll of quarters or this roll of nickels. And
hmm
one thing that I haven't found, I mean, I found several this past year, but up until this past year, I had never found what's called a war nickel. The war nickels were, I think, 46, 47, maybe 45, 46, and 47. And they were actually 35% silver.
Oh, wow.
And that in itself is kind of cool. So if you find that, they look a little different. But then my mind starts instantly going to this thing's been around for almost 100 years. I wonder who's had this in their hands.
hmm
I wonder where this came from. Or I like to go metal detecting. If I find something in the ground, I wonder who actually touched this before. Whose pocket did it fall out of? And it
hmm
and it makes me think about that stuff. And I'm more the creative, I think, in a lot of businesses. So my mind gets, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like that childlike imagination mind
Wonder. Yeah.
where if I ever go to a um, like a Civil War battlefield or something, and I can just stand out there and just be quiet, and I can see everything.
hmm
There's nothing out there, obviously.
Right. Sure. Well,
maybe,
sure.
maybe maybe the ghost of these people,
hmm
but and I'm sitting there and I can just see it. I can see the battle. I can see people coming over the hill over here. And anyway, that's kind of crazy. That's another story, but it kind of makes me
Yeah.
think about what you were saying about your fascination with you know ancient things and ancient cultures and how they built these things like the pyramids and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
So I like watching all the shows that you mentioned too, and like
Hmm.
most any documentary, I will watch documentaries over like a television series any day long or any day,
Yeah.
unless it's like Whose Line Is It Anyways? I love Whose Line Is It Anyways because I just love comedy, so that's
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, to your point though, I mean, yeah, being in those areas with like monuments or historical places or landmarks, like it's almost like you like feel like the energy or the story of what happened there. I totally
Hmm.
get that because I'm the same way.
Yeah, that is so cool. Well, I'm glad I had you on today. I have not only learned a lot about real estate, but also now I'm excited. I'm gonna go watch Discovery the rest of the day or whatever. I
Great.
love Expedition
Oh
Unknown,
yeah, me
um,
too.
and hate that Jessica Chobot's not on there this year. She was one of my favorites, but I still follow her online. She was the co-host from the
Yeah,
beginning till last year, I guess.
right.
The new lady that's on there is pretty good too. Maybe a little more dramatic, but I love that kind of stuff on television. It just makes me think about a lot of different things, and I think that's pretty cool. Okay, I've got one more question. What kind of
Sure.
final tip would you have for anybody wanting to get into the investment or the real estate industry? Stay
Ooh,
away.
final tip. Okay, let's see. So about getting in. Okay, so about getting in, my final tip, it would be, your network is your net worth.
Mm,
We've all heard that, right? So put yourself in the position for the opportunities. Get yourself in the right rooms or as many right rooms as you think, or step your way into the rooms you think you want to be in. And then, when you find your lane, pick your lane. I say, pick your vibe and find your tribe. And then just surround yourself with the people in that lane that are doing that at a higher level, the level that you want to be doing at. And, follow in their footsteps. Ask them to mentor you, JV, joint venture on a project with them. So I would say figure out, soul search what you want to do, find the rooms where those people are, find your people, and then hook up to them like little puppy dogs.
Yeah, latch on.
Yeah.
Don't let go.
Yeah.
Don't let go. Gosh, this has been pretty good. It seems like it's just flown by, but it's been 30 minutes. So I appreciate you, Kristen. I appreciate you being here. I think we had a good conversation today, and we'll probably have to have a round 2 here in the near future.
I already wanted
to. Well, sounds great. I'm gonna put some of your information down in the notes below. If you guys need to get in touch with Kristen, tell us real quick, what's the easiest way to find you?
Sure. So you guys can either shoot me a text on my cell, 704-519-6183. Obviously, I'm on Facebook, and then you can email me. A good email is Kristen, Kristen, at LandScouties. So LandScouties.com.
That's fantastic. I love that you put your number out there too, because I've been doing that for years, and I think people think I'm crazy. Why would you put your telephone number on everything? Well, it's because that's what real estate people do. That's right. Opportunity does not wait on anyone. Let's see. What is that saying? There's a state right now. I listen to CNBC every now and then, and there's a state. It says something like, opportunity favors the bold, and you can find the bold here in Idaho or someplace. It's so amazing. But that's it. If you want the opportunity, you got to go to where the people are. You got to latch onto them like puppy dogs, like we said, and just put all the hard work and dedication in.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that's it.
And you'll get there.
Yep. Kristen, I appreciate everything. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
We'll have to do this again. We'll enjoy another day of this. Guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe to the Experts Game channel, because there'll be more, and they are a lot of other episodes in the past as well. So if you also want to be a guest on this show, please make sure you let us know, and we will get in touch with you as soon as possible. But other than that, can't wait to see you again, and we'll see you on another episode. Thanks again, Kristen. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode of the Experts Game. We are going to have a round 2 with Kristen. I just love the conversation, and I know that you guys are getting a lot of great information from it as well. So this will probably be one you watch over and over and over again. I'm really sorry about the technical difficulties we had there. Had some lag in the video, but aside from that, the audio came through just perfectly, and I think there was a lot of great nuggets today. So thank you guys so much for being here today, and make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can see more episodes just like this before I guess anybody else. You'll see them first. But we appreciate you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful week, and until next time, have a great day. Do your best. Try to make things simple, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye everybody.